Oh hey! I was just reading my chapter's contract. So we've covered Policy 610 and negotiations updates, but what about ratifications and the contract itself? In this last video, part 3, we'll cover some tips and tricks to communicate to your members about the contract and its language. The contract belongs to our members. That's why it's so important to help them understand the language that exists in it, and when there are changes, they need to know the impact of those changes. While we don't want to interpret the contract in a way that might be used against us later, we want to make sure that members understand where the contract is being changed, what may have necessitated those changes, and that we as chapter members are approving those changes. A tentative agreement, or TA, is either a pending new contract or negotiated changes to the current contract, but not yet approved by the members or the governing board. Our members must ratify or vote on a tentative agreement. That means they probably should know what they're voting for. Remember that if a tentative agreement is signed with the district, the Chapter Negotiations Committee must recommend its approval and not speak against it, so don't go around telling your members this is not a good deal. An announcement for a ratification information meeting and vote is required. Policy 610.9.05 states, the meeting notice shall be issued to all bargaining unit members no later than 5 working days before the scheduled meeting. Policy 610.9.06 states, in addition to the meeting notice, the chapter shall provide each CSEA member of the bargaining units 1. A copy of the negotiated agreement or summary of the negotiated agreement, and 2. A statement indicating that the negotiating committee recommends ratification of the negotiated agreement. Now, how you actually present any changes to your members is going to depend on how many changes are being proposed. If you have a handful of sections being changed, you can probably do a side-by-side comparison like a table, and type in the old and new language. But if you have significant changes, this might not be practical. You may simply have to list the article headings and numbers, then refer to your members to the tentative agreement. Consult with your negotiations committee and labor relations representative on how to best formulate your ratification announcement. When you're not in negotiations, of course, you want to educate your members on the contract they currently have. Every contract is different. Not every chapter will have the exact same contract language. We want our members to read our contract, but let's face it, who has time to read this cover to cover? So it's important to make your members aware of the contract and highlight different sections so that it encourages them to read further. Of course, it's best to give them the actual language in your contract so that they can see for themselves what our contract says. It may be beneficial to explain the contract in plain English, but check with your labor rep to make sure what you are saying is what CSEA intends. Be careful not to overwhelm your members with entire sections in the contract. You might choose to address a topic in the form of a question your members have or might ask, and then give them the answer with language from the contract. At the end of the day, you know your members best. You'll have to keep adjusting your strategy based on what your members want from their contract. Working together with your chapter leadership and your labor rep is the best way to make sure your message is on point. If our members don't know their rights, they have no rights. Remember, this is your contract too. You are a member of CSEA just like the members who you are communicating to. If you can understand and explain the contract to your brothers and sisters in your chapter, you'll be well on your way to improving the lives of your fellow members, students, and community. Thanks for watching.